Hi, Damien here for Automotive Superstore. This time around it's Alpine's ILX F511A 11-inch Halo Android Auto, digital radio and wireless CarPlay head unit. Let's check it out. So let's kick off with everything that comes in the box. These floating head units are a little bit more complicated to put together than a regular head unit, just because the screen and the chassis are actually separate in the box and they need to be bolted together, and you get a couple of nuts and bolts and bits and bobs for that sort of thing. Once they're together, these little plates here go onto the sides to hide all of the bracketry once it's in the car. You also get your DAB antenna, a quick start guide manual. The full manual you can download online. For wiring looms, you've got the main harness for power, earth and trigger and so on. That also gives you your connections for the internal powered amplifier. Now, it's a Class D amplifier in this, which is more efficient than a regular Class AB. Not a big deal for a head unit, but anyway, it's a thing. Alpine claims it's 50 watts max by 4. They don't give us an RMS rating, but I'd say it's probably about 20 watts RMS by 4. You get separate wiring looms for the RCA inputs, front, rear and sub, 4 volts, that's nice. A separate loom for the steering wheel and the microphone input for your Bluetooth. And then a last loom that's for the dual reverse camera inputs. Important to note about that is that has a proprietary Alpine connector for each of those cameras. And so if you buy Alpine's own proprietary cameras, they'll plug straight in. If you've got a traditional reverse camera with RCA, you need to buy one of these adapters from Alpine to plug into that loom so that they'll work. Let's dive into the unit and have a look at the actual features inside. So firing it up, you're welcomed by this screen here, and this is where you choose the source. So with a USB stick connected, you've got a choice of having music. You can play back high-res FLAC files or MP3, various different types of file formats. Additionally, you can put video files on. So this is a WXGA screen, and it's 720p native resolution. This is actually a 1080p video file, and it looks incredible. It's a beautiful screen to view and to use. HDMI is for an external video source in high definition. However, this is also where you can connect to do the phone mirroring. And with that, you've got a choice. If you have an Apple device, you need one of the Apple to HDMI adapters and then an HDMI cable to connect. Otherwise, if you use Android, Alpine offers special adapters, and there are 2 generations of Android phone. And depending on which generation phone you've got, you'll need one of these 2 adapters. Bluetooth audio streaming obviously is pretty self-explanatory. Tidal is a subscription service for high definition music. Most of you, however, will use CarPlay or Android Auto with your smartphone. My iPhone is connected, so let's jump in. And isn't CarPlay amazing on a big screen like this? Swiping right and left, we get access to the important apps for navigation, entertainment and communication. Maps like Apple's own map system here, Google Maps, or even Waze. For messaging, there's WhatsApp. For audio sources, you've got the phone's audio, of course, access to Spotify. Vox is for high definition music as well. So an Android phone works almost exactly the same, except you just swipe up and down to access the apps instead of left and right. And you also have something like this. It's a split screen for your maps and for your audio source. Let's go into setup. So in device, here you can connect to Wi-Fi. And what that is the Wi-Fi connection between your phone and the unit itself. And that's for wireless CarPlay, but you will also need to connect your phone to Bluetooth to make that work. In function, it's just setting up some of the presets for your sources. You can also control your cameras here. In system, it's other presets that you set once and forget, and other things like screen colors and backgrounds like this. Though the keys on the bottom are always white on this unit. So let's go into audio now. And here you're greeted with a screen with a voltage display in the middle and your basic treble and bass controls. If you touch this button here, you can then slide this to adjust the subwoofer level. Nice and easy to use. Media expander, 1, 2 or 3 levels of intensity. What that's for is for low bit rate MP3s. That might make them feel a bit more dynamic, sound a bit more pleasant to listen to. Over here, bass engine SQ. And you'll see there are a few different types. So there's standard, mid bass, rich, low bass, and punch. And each of those have up to 6 levels of intensity. So that's one option for your EQ. Or you can jump into the full EQ system itself. So this is what Alpine claims as being a 56 band true parametric EQ. In reality, it's 13 bands for each of the 4 main channels, plus an additional 4 bands for the subwoofer channel. Parametric EQ is superior to regular graphic EQ in a couple of different ways. Of course, you've got the level adjustment up and down for the boost or cut. But with parametric, if I choose one band, I can then choose the center frequency. So I can adjust right to the frequency I need to tune with, and then I can have narrow, medium, or large amount of cut or boost with the curve. You can see there it changes graphically on the screen. This is a really, really good EQ system to tune with, and it's one of the best on the market. What's also nice is you can jump straight across to other menus from these screens. So here's our basic fader control and balance control. We can turn rear speakers on and off. We can turn the subwoofer on and off from here as well. In time correction, it's a true 6-channel time correction system. You can adjust in milliseconds or in centimeters. And time correction in essence is really just delaying the speakers that are closest to you so that they're equal in distance away from the one that's farthest from you in the car, typically the subwoofer, so that the arrival time of the sound is all synced up to the listening position. And finally, let's have a look at crossover. Now, this is quoted as being a high pass or band pass filter capable for the front or rear channels. A couple of tricks to it though. For some reason, Alpine has fitted this with a band pass filter for front and rear outputs. What you can't do is you can't have a 3-way crossover, which is a bit weird. So the thing is, just treat it like a traditional high pass for the fronts and rears and low pass for the sub. And in that, you'll get 6, 12 or 24 dB per octave of filter slopes for both the high and low pass. And both can be adjusted from 250 Hertz down to 25 Hertz. There you go, Alpine's ILX F511A. Now this is also available in a 9-inch version. That's the ILX F509A, or just a regular double din, the ILX 507A. Down below you'll find links to those where you get a smoking deal at Automotive Superstore. While you're here, like and subscribe. See you next time.